Time to get ready for your day with the morning warm-up with Trey Lyle. Join us live on VTRN Sports 93.3 FM or the VTRN Sports app. Open VTRN Sports on your smart speaker or stream live on YouTube. Time to get ready for your day with the morning warm-up with Trey Lyle and Ty Tracy.
7:03 on this Wednesday, March 12th, and hopefully, unlike ACC officials, we get it right today. I mean, we'll get to that. Ty, you did start the show with burping, so we're off to a great start.
I was trying to hold it in. That's why.
We've all been there. All right, welcome to the morning warm-up. Trey Lyle, Ty Tracy here. Philip is on vacation. The other intern, TJ, is down at the ACC tournament. And Ed will have a show today, folks, and I will be there. So we'll see. I think he'll have a show today. He should have a show today, right? Yeah, he has a show today. I can remember the schedule. But let's get to, in case you missed it, a lot of stuff to go over last night.
Keeping up with sports 24/7 takes some serious effort, especially when you're sleeping. Don't worry, the morning warm-up stays alert around the clock. Now here is everything you missed last night.
Starting with a couple of NFL moves with some familiar names. Bills are signing edge Joey Bosa, 1 year, $12.6 million deal. Got to get after Patrick Mahomes. DeAndre Hopkins of the Chiefs, formerly, is now with the Ravens, 1 year, $5 million. He reunites with his former teammate Derrick Henry in Baltimore. Get excited for Colts fans. You have signed Daniel Jones, 1 year, $14 million. So
Danny Dimes,
Anthony Richardson, and Danny Dimes. Let's see what happens.
It's gonna be an entertaining quarterback competition.
It's something. Former Commander Jonathan Allen signed with the Vikings, 3 years, $60 million. In a sort of surprising trade, but now that it's come out, not surprising trade. The Eagles trade C.J. Gardner-Johnson to the Houston Texans for Kenyon Green and a 2026 fifth-round pick. Eagles send away Gardner-Johnson, a 2026 sixth-rounder. Welcome to Jeff Stoutland University, Kenyon Green, and Philadelphia appears to be trying to save some money and change the locker room dynamics. We'll just say that.
We got a lot of young pieces on the defensive side of the ball,
and they want to start their third-round pick in Sidney Brown from 2 years ago. He's been hurt his first 2 years. So, the Atlanta Falcons have signed defensive end Leonard Floyd, who was released by the 49ers Tuesday on a 1 year, $10 million contract. And speaking of the Falcons, they signed former Raiders and former Virginia Tech. He was a safety of Virginia Tech, linebacker with the Raiders. Best name in football, Divine Diablo. Yesterday, and then Commanders make a move for Will Harris, signing him to a 2 year, $8 million contract with a max value of $10 million. One more NFL headline in a controversy that now is not a controversy. That is, I really think is the most, I want to preface this. If I ever got invited there, no matter who the president was, I'd be honored. The Eagles are going to visit the White House on April 28th to celebrate the Super Bowl. And if a player doesn't want to show up, who cares? Literally, who cares?
It's the White House.
It's the White House. Glad they accepted it. But if a player doesn't want to show up, that's their decision. Please do not, respect their decision. It's kind of simple, folks.
Mm-hmm.
We get to, that guy who's in the White House. Well, if you go to InsaneRadioDeals.com right now and use the promo code tariffs, you get 25% off your orders. So, we're celebrating him too. All right. Former Radford head coach Darius Nichols is now heading to become the head coach of LaSalle. That was announced yesterday. And in NASCAR news, Carl Edwards, NASCAR Hall of Famer, is joining the Prime Studio team along with Corey LaJoie for the NASCAR broadcast this season. It's cool to see Carl Edwards back in NASCAR. He's excited about racing again, so that is cool to see. I would love to see him race again in the Xfinity Series in particular, but we'll see if that happens. He joins the pit reporters that were announced were Kim Kuhn, interesting enough, Trevor Bain, who's been part of the Fox broadcast on trucks a lot, and of course the legendary Marty Snyder. Fifth, and then I could play the music I played yesterday because this is sad. 15-time major champion, in my opinion, in the conversation for most impactful athlete ever, and the greatest golfer of all time, Tiger Woods, underwent surgery for rupturing his left Achilles while ramping up for training and practice at home. He announced in a statement on X, Woods said he'd be back home in Jupiter, Florida, and plans to focus on his recovery, rehab, and his timeline to competition wasn't immediately known. I hate to say this, but it feels like this is the end. I know golf is different than other sports, but this guy's going to be 50 and coming off an Achilles injury. It sucks. It sucks to see Tiger's body just break down on him later in his career. And this happens with athletes because Tiger was going to break all the records, and I still think he's the greatest golfer of all time. I mean, I didn't see Jack. I didn't see, that's his only comparison. So, but that just hurts. All right, NBA last night. We're going to get to all the college basketball scores in a second. But NBA last night, we're going to start with, honestly, maybe the underrated rivalry in all of basketball, Pacers Bucks, that ended in just a wild sequence.
Here we go, 3.9 seconds left. Pacers down 3. Halliburton's got the ball. Halliburton rises up. Oh my goodness! Tyrese Halliburton hits a 3 and is fouled. You have got to be kidding me.
The great Reggie Miller, the great Brian Anderson on the call for TNT. Pacers 115, Bucks 114. Tyrese Halliburton with the 4-point play game winner. Man, he's actually balled of late if you look at Tyrese Halliburton. But this is probably going to be their playoff matchup again. And yeah, they're the 4-5 right now. And they played last year, and obviously it feels unfinished last year, Ty, because of the Giannis injury. But I think that's gonna be like the 4-5. We could easily we have a shot to get in the first round Lakers Warriors because of the Lakers LeBron injury, and then this will be an underrated matchup. I think Pistons Knicks will be an underrated matchup if that happens as well. Pistons get the 123-103 win, and the least shocking part about this is not the Warriors' loss. It's that the Pistons almost got in another fight. I'm just saying. Isaiah Stewart is collecting superstar fights like Infinity Stones. He's got LeBron and Steph Curry already. I just want to throw that in there. That happened the other night. Cavs, I'm telling you, man, we mentioned Cleveland. Cleveland 109, Nets 104. They've won 15 in a row for the second time this season. They are 55-10. It's a really good team. Pelicans 127, Clippers 120. All right. Updating you on all the college basketball scores. We'll get, obviously, Virginia Tech falls. You heard this game right here on VTRN Sports, 82-73 in double overtime. Peja Stojakovic's son, Andre Stojakovic, this made me feel old, drops 29. Cal gets the win, so we're already wrong on our bracket, Ty. Go us.
I'm disgusted right now because
we're going to talk about that game in a second.
Yeah, but I just want to throw this out there. What's crazy? I picked Cal, Syracuse, and Notre Dame first. That I erased it. I said, now I'm going to just go with I'm reversing. Now I'm looking sick.
Sure.
I really did. I'm looking sick.
All right. Well, Gonzaga wins their 20th conference championship under Mark Few as they defeat in a good game that you heard right here on VTR and Sports. 58-51. They defeat St. Mary's. St. Mary, I mean, both teams are going to make the tournament, but Gonzaga gets that automatic bid. St. Mary's is a really good team this year as well in the WCC. It's crazy to think Gonzaga is 25-8 and 14-4 in conference play, and this is a quote unquote down year for them. Think about that.
Gonzaga.
So, Cincinnati advances in the first round of the Big 12 tournament, 87-68. Notre Dame, if my I jokingly texted that Mike Young and Jeff Capel should be able to like fight the officials after the game. Jeff Capel, man, I feel bad for him. Notre Dame wins 55-54 after literally a last-second foul call with no time left. Allows Notre Dame to win and not force overtime in one of the worst calls. Just go watch the highlight. I don't even think he gets touched. It's so bad. Like, I had to watch the highlight again, thinking, did they just not show the right angle? Like, that's how bad I thought it was. I am not being Nikita Konstantinotsky. What a last name. Is the one who hit the free throws to win for Notre Dame. But they advance. They will take on, as I look at the bracket, North Carolina. Cal will take on Stanford. And then Syracuse won last night over Florida State 66-62, ending Leonard Hamilton's run at Florida State, and they will take on SMU. Today's one of the best days of the year because you're going to have 4 Big 12 games, 4 ACC games, the play-in games in the SEC, the play-in games in the Big 10. Today's an underrated day of the sports year because you're going to have games all day, and it's going to be good matchups. Other notable scores, Colorado defeats TCU 69-67. Another team that punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament is UNC Wilmington. They won 76-72 over Delaware. That game also you could have heard on VTRN Sports right after the Virginia Tech game. So UNC Wilmington goes 27-7 on the year, 14-4 in the CAA. Delaware almost went 4 wins in 4 days to pull off the massive upset. And I don't want to say steal a bid because one of the Townsend was not going to get they were the number 1 team in the CAA. Mm-hmm. They weren't going to get an at-large. Liberty's matchup is set for today at 5:30 p.m. on the men's side. They will take on UTEP as UTEP won 79-65 last night. Other notable scores, St. Francis is heading to the NCAA tournament to be a 16 seed as they won the Northeast Conference 46-43 in a barn burner. Robert Morris in the Horizon League final is heading to the NCAA tournament. They won 89-78. Kansas State advances in the Big 12 tournament 71-66. And I believe that's all the finals for you today in terms of who has punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament. More of those today as well. All right, we'll get to it. 82-73. Tech loses. And from a point of view of this, Virginia Tech shot 12% from 3 and committed 18 turnovers. Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you, Ed. I forget that it's Central Time.
Alabama.
No, Liberty is 6:30 today, not 5:30. So on the bracket, folks, it says 5:30. But because Conference USA is so nice to us, they put Central Time on there. And so you have to subtract an hour. So Ed's listening live and texted us that it's 6:30, and I knew that. So Virginia Tech went 3 of 25 from 3 and had 18 turnovers. That is losing basketball. However, the officiating in this game was Virginia Tech did not play like they deserved to win, except they were going to pull it out. And then the officiating was atrocious. It's worse in Pitt Notre Dame. Like at least Cal pulled away in that second overtime where they kind of won it. But the foul calls, it summed up. It was the first overtime. They call a foul on Cal, and they missed the both free throws. But there's the perfect shot of Mike Barber, formerly of the Richmond Times-Dispatch, just going, wow. And he, the perfect shot of him on the TV broadcast. And I think that sums it up. the play in which Cal ties it in overtime. You have an inbound, and the guy Blackshear comes rushing in and just takes out Toby Lawal. And there's more contact on that than when the guy drives and Burnham goes straight up and the guy misses the layup. And I'm just like, either call both or call none. And I lean towards calling none. And maybe because I watched the end of the first game, it influenced how I felt about the officiating heading into this game. But man, it was bad. It was really really bad. I hate this. I hate talking about officiating because Cal just got their first win in the ACC tournament. And honestly, I always love having big rivalry games in a conference tournament. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get Cal and Stanford.
Yeah.
And that's weird to say in the ACC tournament. Very weird to say. But that's a big rivalry. You know? And Tech had the game won in regulation and overtime. And it was 2 bad foul calls that got Cal more life. And credit to Cal. Cal has played 6 overtimes in their last 2 games. And their best player is going through Ramadan. And basically, for the first 5-6 of the game, I think in what's his name? Which he should have found out in the first overtime, by the way. Sissoko, he couldn't drink any water until double overtime in yesterday's game and triple overtime against Notre Dame. So, credit to him. He played 35 minutes. He was in foul trouble, so he didn't play. But I will say this: it was weird seeing a Stojakovic out there. Because shout out to Peja. I was pretty good with him in 2K. So I hate this feeling because I feel like Cal won it in the second overtime. I think Tech the inexperience of Tech, and it felt like after that first, they honestly looked like it was weird to say, and maybe it's because Cal has a much older team. They
just wanted it more.
That when it came to that second over, I don't know if they wanted it more. They just seemed to have more energy in that a lot of Tech shots in that last overtime. You can always tell a team is tired if it's hitting the front of the rim.
Yeah, well,
and it seemed like to me the shot was either hitting the back of the rim, where it meets the glass, or the front, and so that's a clear sign. I think they were just tired in that second overtime. And it led to an 82-73 win for Cal. They take on Louisville today at 7 o'clock. Kicks off today, obviously, Virginia takes on Georgia Tech at noon today. And then you have I actually went over 3 on my picks. Granted, I got screwed in 2 of them. Notre Dame, and then you got Notre Dame, North Carolina, Tech, Stanford, and then Florida State and S. Or I'm looking at my birth picks.
I should trust.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You know what? You head down to
Duval.
All right. Okay. And I'm Gandhi. Okay, I can say that too. If ifs or buts were it's like candy and nuts, right? Something like that. That's the phrase.
I don't know.
But man, 82-70. It was a good game. The first 2 games were great. There were 3 great games. Don't get me wrong. It's just what am I crazy to think this, Ty? Did you watch the game?
A little bit, yeah. You're not crazy at all. Okay. And it just
again, Notre Dame Pitt worse. Way worse.
I agree with you on that one.
At least Cal won by 9.
Yeah.
At the end.
It's stuff you can't say no, but you come on now. Everybody's seen it. Even my grandma can see that. It's just bad overall.
If the guy goes straight up, which it appeared that Ben Burnham did. I watched it this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you allow a lot of contact on literally on something 5 seconds beforehand, you got to allow a lot of contact on the like they have to be equal.
Mm-hmm.
Either call it, because I watched it again, and Corey Jim, by the way, Jim Boeheim, I think was a gem on these broadcasts, which Zach Mackey, Mike Burnham do a great job for the Virginia Tech Sports, for Virginia Tech Radio Network. But Boeheim was like, "Yeah, we shouldn't even be here right now." And then he goes, "With CO, like I mentioned, what's his name? Oh, I'm the center I just brought up.
For Cal?
No, yeah,
Sasuko, yeah.
He fouled someone, and it was going to be his 5th foul, and they gave it to the other guy.
Yeah.
And then he hits the first 2 shots in double overtime to give Cal the breathing room they needed. Like, I'm like, and Boeheim goes, "Well, he should be out of the game. He should have fouled out."
Yeah.
And Boeheim's like, "Well, we shouldn't be here." Like, you could tell, like, he still has the coach in him, and he was just so blunt throughout the entire broadcast. And Corey Alexander next to him was very loud, and you heard Boeheim just be like, "He should be done. This game should be over." It was very funny. I think Boeheim was great in it. I was a fan of it. I think I always imagine if I flipped it the other way, like if that was Tech, I would have felt like, oh, they got lucky. They got really lucky. I mean, this has been like, if you want to start with football season, I think this has been probably the banner year of ACC officials.
Mm-hmm.
But I was shocked. I was shocked at the foul calls late. I think the one in overtime was worse. Like, the worst call, like, again, I preface this. I don't even think the pick guy touched him on that rebound. Mm-hmm. Also, there's like 5/10 of the second left. Do not call that. Just let it go to overtime. The only way you call a foul in that moment is if literally he becomes Ed Reed or the late great Sean Taylor and takes, like, hip checks him into next week.
Yeah.
Like, so you like, I just it sucks. It sucks because that's a good win for Notre Dame too. Right? Yeah. Like, it's a good win for Notre Dame, who is a young team looking for stuff. And it's a good win for Cal, who is in their first year of the ACC. And, you know, they played well. They played really well against Notre Dame in 4 overtimes. It's just, like, that's what I hate about this, is that this is the conversation from the game. Not, hey, Cal came off a game where they were in 4 overtimes. Their best players going through Ramadan and can't drink water throughout the game. Can't have anything. You can't have anything. And they've played 6 overtimes in their last 2 games, and they're still alive. Mm-hmm. And they're still playing basketball. And we can do a deep dive into Virginia Tech season next week, but I don't even feel like doing it because it just sucks. I mean, it really, really does. Give us your thoughts on this. If you're on the YouTube page or the Facebook page, in the comments section, at Trey Lyle VT, at Ty Tracy 90. Love your thoughts on this. I got to work on that plug. It's just, we'll see. I mean, and they could get an assistant poached. With the Radford job opening, I wouldn't be shocked if they look at a Virginia Tech assistant. I know Damian Sordelet brought up a bunch of names when talking about this, and it's just going to be interesting to see. I mean, he actually, if you go to his Twitter, you can see the reaction. Mike Young, great face to the foul call in overtime. See Mike Barber's reaction. You see David Cunningham's reaction. You see the great SID for Virginia Tech basketball, Brian Cox's reaction, and then Mike Young reaction. It's just, man. And actually, Dame is reporting. I got to give a shout out to Dame. Shane Nichols will be interviewed for the job. for Radford as well. So keep an eye on that. Just shout out to Damien, who's already on it for the Radford coaching search. I mean, it's that time of year. We got coaching searches. Virginia, I guess, has one right now. We'll see. Will it fully start after today? We'll find out later. I think both of us have Virginia advancing. Right? Both of us have Virginia advancing.
Yes.
By the way, I should give this shout. Ed did get his picks in for the ACC and the Conference USA tournament. He's picking Clemson and Wake as his dark horse in a bid stealing effort, and then Liberty with Sam Houston, which that one's wrong, Ed. They've already lost. And Kennesaw as his dark horse. Sam Houston will not win the Conference USA tournament. I can go on a limb and say that for sure. But we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to do Today in Sports History. We got Bryson Gordon coming on at around 7:40 today. So we need to take a break. Today in Sports History, Ty sitting at a 1-3 record since I started to track this. Can he? Or no, you got one yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, 2-2 record. Oh yeah, because I gave you basically everything. Yeah, 2-2 record. I'll give you that. All right, 2-2. Can you get over 500 today? We'll find out.
Hopefully.
Next here on the Morning Warm-Up.
We are making it happen at the Used Car Superstore on the Sheeler Motor Mile, your premier used car dealer serving Southwest Virginia and surrounding areas for over 50 years. With the best selection, value, finance options, and exceptional service. Plus 900 pre-owned vehicles all in one location. Volume selling means volume pricing, and we've got the volume. The Used Car Superstore is your one-stop for most makes and models. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Many have miles in the teens, remaining factory warranties, and some are even local one-owner vehicles. Plus, Sheeler owns the finance company. Getting approved for credit is easy on the Motor Mile, with finance options for every budget. 900 used vehicles in stock now. More than any other dealer in the area. Hurry in for straightforward pricing and more inventory arriving daily. Why wait? Make it happen at the Used Car Superstore on the Sheeler Motor Mile, your premier family-owned car dealer serving Southwest Virginia and surrounding areas for 50 years. I-81 exit 118C in Christiansburg. Call 866-SHEELER1. Always open at Sheeler.com.
When you're voted one of the best plumbers according to Lynchburg Living magazine, you want to hire the best. Sullivan Plumbing wants the best plumbers to join our award-winning team. Do you have a clean driving record? Do you have at least 4 years plumbing experience? Then you're a 5-star recruit, and Sullivan Plumbing would love to meet with you. Take the first step. Call Sullivan Plumbing in downtown Lynchburg or email sullivanplumbing@gmail.com.
We're joined by Randy Trost from Trost Law, and they've been serving our community since 1982. Randy, good to be speaking with you. What are some of the pillars that have enabled Trost Law to be a community service partner for over 4 decades?
Well, one of our main pillars is customer service, client service. We believe in providing the utmost personal service to each of our clients. We take time to listen to the client, listen to their situation, and apply our expertise to that situation to come out with the best outcome for that particular client.
You mentioned all of that. When people call Trost Law, how different is it in terms of being guaranteed to speak with the person?
We pride ourselves, when you call our office, you are going to have a person pick up the telephone. There will not be a robotic teleprompter come in asking to press a number to find out who you should be directed to. You'll get a live person. They'll greet you in a pleasant fashion and direct you to the person most appropriate for your issue.
And if people leave a message, true or false, you get back to them within 24 hours.
Absolutely. If you don't hear from our office within 24 hours, there's a problem. Call the police to help us.
Randy Trost with Trost Law. Fun way to end that, but it's informative for people. Randy, thank you so much. And we see now why Trost Law has been serving our community since 1982.
Thank you for having me.
Randy Trost of Trost Law. For more info, trostlaw.com and 777-HURT.
Depressed about your favorite sports team? Well, VTRN Sports is presented by the perfect relaxing beach house vibe. Edo One Raw Bar on Church Street in downtown Lynchburg.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected with the show at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:33 on this Wednesday, March 12th. Welcome to the morning warm-up. Trey, Lyle here with you. We reacted to all the latest NFL news. Well, sort of reacted. We went through it. The latest NFL moves. Maybe the Bosa move is the only one to really react about. They get a pass. They get, I think, a pass rusher still with a lot of juice left. If he if he can stay healthy, he's an upgrade over Von Miller, who they cut in Buffalo to pair with Gregory Rousseau, and they got to get after Mahomes. So I like that move for Buffalo. That's the only one really to react about. Ty Tracy is here. Good news, Ty. You have TJ rooting you on, who's down at the ACC tournament. So for this today in sports history, how you feeling? Do you feel like 2-0 day? That's the goal, right?
Yeah, that's the goal.
As I accidentally kicked myself out of the stream, so I'm getting back into it. If you go to the youtube.com/@VTRN Sports Lynchburg, I'm now back. All right, I'm here. There we go. Now I can scroll. I was trying to, so on Macs, you have to use 3 fingers to go back and forth from pages to pages. And sometimes I actually don't put the third finger down. All right, Ty. So we're not going to do, by the way, we're not going to do that on this date in 2020. The NCAA announced they're canceling the NCAA tournament because we did that yesterday.
Yeah.
All right. So, because also on this date in 2020, the NHL announced it's pausing its season. Just so you know. But I am ready. We are going to have do we have 3? No, we'll have 2. We'll for sure have 2. All right, time for today in sports history.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James.
Many doubted we'd ever see it. But here it is. The return to glory.
It's time for today in sports history.
Seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
And they go length of the court with Archie Diacono. 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship.
Let's hear what Ty really knows about what happened on this day in sports history.
All right. 2 of these are from the Big East. One I know you're going to get. One is from the ACC. That is your only hints. We're going to go in chronological order. Starting in 2009, Syracuse outlasted Connecticut in the second longest Division I game ever played, capping a Big East tournament quarterfinal doubleheader in which the second and third ranked teams in the nation both lost. How many overtimes did this game go? If you listened to the Virginia Tech broadcast yesterday on TV, they mentioned it because of AI.
Was it 3 or 4?
Is that your final answer?
I'm going 4.
That is incorrect. You were 2 off.
It was 6.
6 overtimes in a one. Just shows how.
You said 2009?
Yes.
I was like, dang.
I remember this game. I obviously didn't stay up for it, but I remember this game.
I was like,
they had to play literally less than 12 hours. Like it was kind of incredible. 127-117 victory for Syracuse over the third-ranked Huskies. Earlier that day, West Virginia beat number 2 Pitt 74. That was when the Big East was the Big East got back to being really good when they kind of focused on becoming a basketball conference. But
I still say to this day, still one of the best basketball conference.
Yeah, St. John's, Connecticut, Marquette, they have a lot. Villanova, a lot of good basketball. But the early, obviously the 80s and 90s, the Big East was great. But their mid 2000s, they were great then too. All right, going to 2011, this player shattered the tournament scoring record in the Big East by getting 19 points in a 69-66 victory over then number 14 Louisville. If I named the school, I think you would get the player.
Kemba Walker?
That is correct.
Come on now, one of the best.
Yeah, so Cardiac Kimba in 2011. Obviously, they go on to win the national championship with Kimba. It's kind of just to show how good the Big East was. Connecticut was ranked 21st at the time.
Yeah.
They beat 14 Louisville, and they were the 9th seed in the Big East tournament.
Yeah, that's when he hit that one of the best game winners of all time.
Yes, not in this game.
Okay,
that was against
Pitt, but
that was
it was
against
like
Pitt.
it was like during that time, right?
Yeah, that was in the semi. I want to say.
Was it semi?
Yeah, because this is the final against.
Okay, yeah, I'm about to say because I told somebody that's probably one of the best game winners I've ever seen.
Cardiac Kimba.
You know, I thought this whole time I thought he said party at Kimba.
No,
I
he
was
said
like
cardiac.
I thought it was party. I was like cardiac. I was like,
no, it would make more sense to me.
A lot of people thought it was party. I was like, see, party at Kimba sounds better with cardiac. I was like,
no, cardiac makes way more sense.
I don't know.
All right. This team was the 7th seed. This happened in 2022. This team was the 7th seed in the ACC tournament and upset Coach K in his final ACC tournament in the final to win its first ACC tournament.
Oh, man. Shoot. You said it was 7th seed?
They were the 7th seed in the 2022 ACC tournament, and they upset Duke in his final ACC tournament game to win their first ACC tournament.
Oh, shoot.
This happened in 2022. You literally have a 50-50 shot here. Because why would I bring the 2022 ACC tournament on this show in particular?
Shoot. Oh, man.
Come on, Ty. Ty.
You said, you gotta think about it. That's
Ty. It's what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, but like, dude, anything was happening.
Ty.
I forgot. That's one thing.
Ty, this is so easy.
I told you.
Ty, look.
I'm looking at it.
Ty.
Virginia Tech?
Yes, and if you
remember.
Weren't watching the stream, I took a sip of my coffee that says Virginia Tech alumni. Come on, Ty.
I mean, it was 3 years ago. I remember.
All you had to do, so simple breakdown. So some of these questions are going to have local ties. So simple breakdown would be, all right, so it has to be Virginia Tech. Well, I know Virginia won an ACC tournament before 2022.
Yeah, I knew it was Virginia.
So it had to only.
I just don't for some reason. I remember, but I don't. I was like, did they really beat Duke?
Yes, they beat Paulo Banchero and Duke in that game. Hunter Couture dropped 31. They shot the lights out of the ball in that ACC tournament. They won their first ACC tournament. It was their only way into the tournament. So, yes, that's how it happened. On this day in 2022, Virginia Tech became ACC champions.
I said, dang, 3 years ago? Sheesh.
And you know what, Ty? I'm not giving you that one.
I know.
So you're now under 500. You're at 3-5 or 3-4.
Yeah, I'll take 3 and 4.
Philip is TBD. And anyone else want to participate? Let me know. Because I can't even believe it. I mean,
trust me, I forgot about that game. I forgot about that game.
We can't.
I just forgot about that game.
It's the biggest win of Mike Young's career. Well, at Virginia Tech. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Bryson Gordon. Hopefully, will provide us some insight because I guess Ty's not doing it right now. I'm just kidding. It's 7:41 or 7:42 now on the morning warm up.
When you're voted one of the best plumbers according to Lynchburg Living Magazine, you want to hire Sullivan Plumbing.
That was the
wants
one I
the
knew
best
you were going to
plumbers
get.
To join our award-winning team. Do you have a clean driving record?
Why would I bring it up?
At least 4 years plumbing
It's a
experience.
random ACC tournament.
And you're a 5-star recruit, and Sullivan Plumbing would love to meet with you. Take the first step. Call Sullivan Plumbing in downtown Lynchburg or email sullivanplumbing@gmail.com.
When the thrill of playing ball turns into the agony of a broken windshield or car window,
did Bryson go to
contact
UNCW?
Auto Glass. Your local auto glass repair
Yeah,
shop
you did go to
on
UNCG.
Avenue in
Damn.
Lynchburg. Apple Auto Glass
Did you have a party last night?
with the honesty from your neighbors, so you can get back to sharing the great moments this season.
Join the Lynchburg Hillcats at Bank of the James Stadium this summer for any of your favorite nightly promotions. New this year are Senior Sluggers Tuesdays, where members of the Silver Sluggers Club get in free, and College Pride Night, where those wearing college apparel receive a discounted ticket on Wednesdays. As always, we'll have Thirsty Thursdays and giveaways and fireworks on the weekend, and free admission for Kids Club members on Sunday. Get your tickets today at lynchburg-hillcats.com.
The Black Rose, Mount Joy, Government Mule, JJ Gray and Mofro. Need us to continue? Paul Coffin, the California Honey Drop, Larkin Poe. And that's just a handful of acts performing at Floyd Fest 25 Aurora, July 23rd through 27th at Festival Park in Floyd. Ticket prices increase April 1st. So get your tickets now at floydfest.com. Winner of the Best Music Festival, even more acts to be announced soon for Floyd Fest 25 Aurora. You get your tickets now at floydfest.com before prices increase April 1st.
An extra 25% tariff has some people stressing, but not you, because you're shopping at InsaneRadioDeals.com and you're entering the promo code TARIFF at checkout to get 25% off the list price of every already low-priced item. That includes favorites like B&C Sports gift cards, Fleet Feet Roanoke gift cards, Aquatrek Adventures gift cards, Lynchburg Hillcats, general admission, or reserve seats with a $10 food voucher. So enter the promo code TARIFF at InsaneRadioDeals.com for 25% off the already low prices now through the end of March.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app, or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:45. We timed that out nicely. Right here on the morning warm-up on this Wednesday, March 12th. We have a microphone on, and that's mine. I got it fixed. We're good.
Okay.
Wednesday, March 12th. My computer microphone was on, so we were messing things up a little bit.
It's all good.
So sorry if you're watching the stream and it was a little double. Sluggish start today. Speaking of sluggish starts, is Liberty in store for a sluggish start like Ty had during today in sports history? Well, let's find out with Bryson Gordon at Bryson Gordon.
Look, I just told you, I just forgot that game. Okay, that's it. I forgot.
You forgot one of the most iconic games of Virginia Tech history and one of the most iconic games in the history of college basketball.
But so, there's a possible chance I probably didn't watch that game too. So
I didn't watch that game either, but I still remember it because it went to 6 overtimes.
See,
so Bryson, do you remember the 6 overtime game between Syracuse and UConn?
I vividly remember where I was at that night. I was at a church lock-in that night. So I actually picked a good night because we watched all 6 overtimes. We were up all night. So,
and would you have, if I asked you that question, would you have answered it?
Probably. It would have taken a second to recollect. I obviously know Syracuse is involved. I probably wouldn't have remembered off the top of my head who the opponent was, but I probably would have.
I remember, as I knew it was the overtimes. I couldn't remember how many overtimes it went.
That's why I asked him how many overtimes it went. I didn't ask.
Yeah, 6. You never forget 6 overtimes. I mean, that's the one that stands. That's the part that stands out.
He at least got Kimball Walker. I will give him credit. And then he forgot Virginia Tech won the ACC title 2 years.
Yeah,
3 years ago.
If Liberty folds in the spotlight like that tonight, they might be going home from Huntsville early. We can't have that kind of performance from them if they're expecting to have a long stay.
Well, good news for Liberty is I don't think the ACC officials will make it down to Huntsville tonight. So that's good news for them. So they're taking on UTEP today at 6:30 p.m. We'll talk about the women as well as we're here with Bryson Gordon. Obviously going to talk Liberty's path to Conference USA in this weird format, which I actually understand because they have the men and the women there at the same time. So once I kind of figured that part out, I understand why they can't really do a traditional double bye setup, which they could actually, but whatever. UTEP, a team that has beaten them this year. I know it was a 1-point win. Liberty came back and beat them in their second matchup. What type of test are Liberty in store for coming off of arguably their 2 best performances of the season between Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky?
Yeah, 100%. This is a game that I think Liberty fans would have rather have seen Sam Houston, not only for the fact that Liberty beat Sam Houston twice this season, but also for the fact that UTEP gives you a little bit of nervousness because they've won in Liberty Arena, which seems to be, Liberty had some home struggles early in the conference season, but that seems to be a place where not a lot of teams can win at. And so for UTEP to have that in their hand coming into tonight, if you would have asked me yesterday morning at this time, about UTEP, I would have said, man, they're a team that 7 straight losses coming into the postseason. They're kind of stumbling their way in here. They looked like they had a decent chance at finishing high in the standings before they completely fell apart down the stretch. And then something about the calendar turning to postseason basketball for some teams just helps you figure it out. They didn't have Ahmad Bynum, and they're not going to have him tonight against Liberty, who hit actually not the game-winning shot, but the go-ahead shot in the game against the Flames in January at Liberty Arena. So an interesting key player for them not to have UTEP, but my goodness, last night without him, they shot the lights out against Sam Houston and found themselves kind of in they were down early on, and then they pulled away pretty quickly and looked like it was a comfortable win. So this is the team in UTEP that's coming into tonight with a game under its belt in Huntsville already. That's something to think about. It's a team that has a little bit of confidence with a win over Liberty this season. Something else to think about. But this is a Liberty team who is shown to be the best team in the conference, throughout the regular season. So you got to feel like if they show up and play as who they are and who they have been this year, they will probably be fine tonight.
Yeah, it's every other game today is a Liberty game. They kick off the women play at 12:30 against Sam Houston, and then at 6:30, which I got to ignore the time on the actual bracket because that's Central Time.
Talk about a headache. Talk about a headache.
Today's been maybe my body decided today was Monday again. I don't know. But they take on UTEP. Obviously, Jacksonville State will take on Western Kentucky later today. They go on to play the winner of Kennesaw and New Mexico State. This schedule, day on, day off, and then the 2 days, the semi and the final. Talking to Rich McKay last week, obviously you want to be in this position, but it's a very unique position. Whereas you want to compare, we're looking at the ACC tournament. Duke's the 1 seed, and obviously there's more teams in that tournament, so it's not a like for like comparison. But their quote unquote double bye is, they play not till Thursday, whereas Liberty's playing today and then playing Friday. Did Rich McKay say which one he prefers, or is it something in which he's how is he trying to factor in this kind of unique schedule?
Yeah, I think obviously they're excited about the hand that they're dealt. They understand that this is how Conference USA does it, and Conference USA is one of the few leagues who doesn't reward their top 2 teams as much as you think particularly the West Coast Conference, who has Gonzaga and St. Mary's, who are traditionally powers in the league. So how do they reward their powers in the league? Well, they send them basically to the semifinals with this incredibly maneuvered bracket where the top 2 teams go all the way to the next to last day, and then every team has to play one game, and it's basically a one game bracket all the way up until the semifinals. And so I think the Conference USA could figure out a better way to reward their top seed, maybe even their top 2 seeds, especially this season where it felt like there was a tie for third place, or tie for there with Middle Tennessee and Jacksonville State. But I do think that Liberty and Jack State kind of cleared themselves over most of the teams in the league this year, and so to reward them, I think that there should be kind of a better way. Now, maybe the logistics of having both tournaments in Huntsville doesn't allow for that, and it seems like that's probably part of it. But Richie McKay talked last week, and he was pretty animated, pretty adamant also that he thought that the Conference USA should come up with better ways to reward their top teams, because when you think about who you want in the conference, who you want in the NCAA tournament, if you're Conference USA, would you rather have a team who has a chance of winning a game or 2 in the NCAAs, or maybe would you just prefer to have the deepest Cinderella story? So it kind of comes down to things like that when you get into March, and I think the top teams who play all these 18 regular season games and look like the best team for the big sample size would like to have a little bit more support whenever it comes to these 1-game tournaments.
Yeah, and you talk about the WCC, which we aired the final last night, so I appreciate that plug. Gonzaga getting the win, but we also saw it with JMU in the Sun Belt. It's a similar format where JMU and South Alabama both started in the semifinals, and they had basically like a week off, and they shot the ball so poorly that they both lost. in that
it's
round.
it's the baseball argument. When we go through it every wild card year, it's like, would you rather sit 2 days and be out of your rhythm? For Liberty, the good thing, if you're thinking about it from the Flames perspective, is that they're not really out of their routine too much. UTEP is in a different routine, but Liberty would have been off Saturday to Thursday. They would have been off Saturday until late in the week, so it doesn't mess up Liberty's rhythm as much as it gives UTEP an extra day of rhythm, maybe playing yesterday and having their feet wet. So that's something to keep an eye on. I think especially for a team like Liberty, who we kind of feel like they're going to need to shoot somewhere between 35 and 50% from three. Obviously 50% from three would be a great game, but they're going to need to shoot well from three to have a chance to win a lot of these games. And playing against a team who has their feet underneath them is something to at least think about.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Conference USA all year has been Thursday, Saturday, except that one Sunday game that Liberty had, where I think the spring game and TV played a part in it. But essentially, they've been day on, off, 2 off days, or 1 off day, and then a game. And that's what Liberty's doing. They basically are having a normal Conference USA weekend with an added game if they get to the final. So let's do they won't get to the final because of what? And then we'll do they get to the final because of what? So they don't get to the final because of
Kennesaw State's guard. I mean, I think that's a team that is probably, as good as UTEP having the win in Liberty Arena is a nice thing for the Miners. But I think if there's a team for Liberty that I would be looking at, it's probably Kennesaw, just because of the fact that they are the only team that beat them the second time around in Conference USA. And you think about, what's the recipe to winning in March? You look at every team that's winning right now, and you look at every team that's going to win next week. They have really good guards, and Kennesaw has probably the 2 best guards in Conference USA, in Adrian Woolley and Simeon Cottle in the backcourt. And so, if they can catch fire, I think they're a team who can win the whole entire Conference USA and play next week in the NCAA tournament game, and maybe even give a team a scare. But also, this is a Kennesaw team who we've seen go into lapses for halves, and score 30 points, score 25 points in a half because they can't get shots to fall. And so if Liberty doesn't, win this all, I think it's going to come down to them getting caught by a team like Kennesaw State. Maybe it's a team like, New Mexico State, who plays Kennesaw, who look to be, apparently Vegas really likes them. And so maybe it's the path that Vegas likes. Maybe it's the big man in Shimanaga, who Vegas likes. So we'll see. But I think if there's a reason for them not to win, it's because another team clipped them with a really good shooting half. We've seen it happen before this season. And so it's not unlikely.
Okay. So why do they win? Why do they ultimately, we're here, this time next week, and we're gearing up for a Liberty NCAA tournament game?
Yeah, I think if they win, I think if they end up cutting down the nets, it's going to be on the back of their defense. You think about the last couple of games; they've given up 80 points on a couple of occasions, but possessions got kind of high in those games. I think if Liberty's going to have success, it's going to be holding their opponents back down into the 60s, in the low 60s probably, and using this incredible rotation of 4 Conference USA guys who somehow didn't make first team. Right, they were the best team in Conference USA by a full game margin, and they didn't have a single first teamer. So I know people are upset about that, but I think maybe that's going to fuel the team this week. They mentioned that it doesn't bother them. It would certainly bother me, and I wouldn't tell anybody it bothered me, but it would bother me that my team won the conference regular season and we didn't have anybody on the first team. And so I think those are things people think about. And I think if Liberty's going to win this week, it's going to come down to them returning to the high caliber defense that has held some of these teams in Conference USA to low 60s, when a lot of nights they're putting up in the 80s.
So on the men's side, it's I think you have 3 clear top teams: Liberty, Middle Tennessee, and then Jacksonville State, obviously. On the women's side, Liberty's the 1 seed on that side. They come off a weekend where they just obliterate Middle Tennessee, and then they get a nice comeback win over Western Kentucky, 74-70. And Western sitting there at 13-5 in conference play. It just feels like to me it's gonna be a 2-horse race in Conference USA between the Liberty women and the Middle Tennessee State women. They're destined to play each other in the final, and watch me be completely wrong here. But looking at that side, that matchup in the final, it's kind of unique. I was talking about this off the with Jamie Hall as the voice, like through text message. It's like, it's weird. These 2 teams have blown each other out the 2 times they've played. Like Middle blew out Liberty at Middle, and Liberty came back and blew them out when they hosted the Liberty Arena. So I guess the third time that they play would be destined for a great matchup. What do you think of the outlook for the Liberty women? Is it really just going to be kind of that grudge match? I don't want to call it a grudge match, but that kind of big matchup in the final between Middle Tennessee, it seems we're destined for?
It seems like it. I think it'd be fun too because they do feel like they've kind of separated themselves as the two best programs in Conference USA. I don't think it's up for much debate anymore. Obviously, Western has a win over Middle Tennessee this year, and that's big. But I think Liberty, their bracket isn't difficult, right? Sam Houston is what it is. They're going to get New Mexico State or La Tech. But I think all eyes in women's basketball are definitely on a potential third match between Liberty and Middle Tennessee. Like you mentioned, they beat the heck out of each other in each other's gyms. Whenever Middle Tennessee came to Liberty last week, it looked like, I've seen obviously not as many of the women's games because they kind of clash against the guys' games, which is difficult. Conference USA, if you're looking at fixing things, that's another thing to look at, is getting these women in their own time slots. But they certainly look like they have put it all together here late in that game against Middle Tennessee. I was watching that one, and that looked like some of the best that they've played all year. Defensively, they swarmed Middle Tennessee, and that's a Middle Tennessee offense that puts up points against pretty much anybody. Even in the non-conference, they were putting up points against some really good teams. And so for this Liberty women team, it's going to come down to their four key players. Also, you think about Bella Smuda, Asia Boone, Emma Hess. Those are three girls who are going to be playing big factors this week. And if it comes down to another game against Middle Tennessee, like you said, I hope neutral court gives us a close matchup because in their home gyms it was a complete runaway. And so I think we're like I said, we're due for a good one on Saturday.
Bryson Gordon, get all the reaction to the Conference USA tournament at Bryson Gordon on Twitter. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you having me on.
And we are never talking baseball after the Garrett Cole injury. That will do it for today on the morning warm-up. Thanks so much to Bryson. Ty, tomorrow will be better for you with today in sports history. I got a feeling. All right. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the morning warm-up. Thanks so much for listening to the morning warm-up on VTRN Sports, 93.3 FM, W227 BG Timberlake, and 1320 AM WBGM Lynchburg.
The Sports Betting Network.